Hello all. Today I'm going to explain you on the REST, GraphQL and gRPC, and by practically we will see the REST and the GraphQL using the VS Code. So let us see the advantages, limitation and comparison. REST is the representational state transfer protocol, and it is an architectural style for distributed hypermedia systems, and it uses the standard HTTP methods get, post, put, delete to perform the CRUD operations, and it is also identified by the URLs, and request is the stateless and self-contained. So basically its advantages are simple and widely adopted, human readable, great tooling, caching, stateless and scalable. And its limitations is over and under fetching data, multiple round trips, no real-time support, versioning complexity, and here the resources and the URL is having the unique URL. And HTTP methods are get, post, put, patch, delete, post and delete. Stateless, and it is a JSON and XML format. Next is the GraphQL, query language for your APIs by Metabook, Facebook. So it is an for the API and runtime for fulfilling these queries. Clients specify exactly what they need in a single request. The schema defines the types and relation. The API becomes a self-documenting. And its advantages are fetch exactly the data needed, strong type schema, real time via subscription, introspection, and self documents. So single endpoint, one GraphQL endpoint for all ops, styled typed schema, self-describing and strongly typed queries and mutations, subscription. And coming to limitations, complex caching, deep learning curve, one engineering for the single API, N+1 query problems. gRPC, Google Remote Procedure Call, high performance binary protocol, and it is a high performance open source RPC framework developed by Google, and it uses the protocol buffers as the ideal and serialization format and runs over HTTP, ideal for microservices and internal service to service communications, internal protocol buffers, binaries, serialization, 3 to 10x smaller, multiplexing, streaming and compression, call types strongly typed. Advantages are ultra-fast binary transport, code generation from schema, bidirectional streaming, great for microservices. Limitations, it is limited to the browser support, non-human readable, requires protobuf knowledge, smaller ecosystem versus the rest. So like advantages and limitations. The REST, simple and intuitive HTTP, universal browser, client support, easy caching, massive tooling ecosystem. And coming to limitations, overfetching and underfetching, multiple requests for the related data, no real-time built-in, versioning challenge, version 1, 2. GraphQL, precise data fetching, strongly typed schema, single endpoint simplicity, real-time subscription, complex HTTP caching, N+1 query problems, limitations, learning curve for the teams and overkill the simple APIs. gRPC, blazing fast binary wire, code generation from photo, full streaming and support, low latency microservices. Limitation, no native browser support, binary is not the debuggable raw. Protobuf schema required, smaller community than the rest. So this is the comparison of GraphQL, REST and gRPC protocol. For REST, GraphQL and gRPC. For HTTP 1.1 or 2, HTTP 1.1 or 2, This is the HTTP2. Data format is in JSON XML. Here it is in JSON. It is in protopop binary. Schema is OpenAPI, Swagger, SDL, type and prototyped. Payload is fixed endpoints, client defined, contract based. Over and under fetched, fetching extra data needed, defined by contracts. Real-time polling, webhooks, subscriptions, streaming built-in. Performance is good, and excellent. Browser support, full, and limited. Best for public APIs, complex data and mobile, microservices IoT, learning curve low, medium, and high. So next we'll go to the VS Code. Here I'm going to explain on the REST versus the GraphQL. And this is the resolver.js. Here this is the students framework and requires the data. So this is coming from the constant students is equal to constant, and coming to schema.js, and this is the schema.js. Which will build the schema. It will build a schema framework which will require the GraphQL, and this will export. So for a build schema, and this type is ID, string, integer, and course string. Type query student, it will all fetch the student's record. Next we'll go to the REST. Students route.js. Here it will give the express framework. Here it will create a router. It will import the student data from the data.js into the project route, and it will get the router.get from the students, which requires request and response, and it will provide in the JSON format. And it will export to the router in all files, can be exported through the router. Next is the data.js. Here it will provide the ID, name, age, course, which will be in the JSON format, and it will export into the students. Next, this is the package.json, Express SQL, GraphQL, and this is the server.js. Here it will Express framework, which requires the Express framework, and after the necessary test routes are provided, schema, route, and this will use the best routes, and app.use, and this is a schema route value, and this will listen to the port 4000, and this will log as server port running, and this is the output which is showing here, server running on a port 4000, and this is the output. So this is for the REST, and this is for the GraphQL, whereas the REST will gives out every data, as in GraphQL it will provide only the selected, it gives out only the selected data. Thank you all for watching.